Michael Black Snow Comics here. Let's talk Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling, the new Rocko's Modern Life special that recently appeared on Netflix. I was following this last year when I kept hearing about it, and I don't really know the story of what happened, but I think originally it was supposed to be for Nickelodeon's kind of 90s related network, The Splat, and it was going to be sort of a TV movie special for that, but I don't know if that ever happened or what. But now it's Netflix, and at the beginning they say it's a Netflix film or whatever, so that's kind of weird. I was following it, kind of excited for it, so I'm glad it's finally here and we can see it. My history with Rocko is that it is probably my favorite cartoon as a kid. If not my top, it was right up there. And it's one of the shows that really got me wanting to draw more. I would draw the characters from it. Sometimes I took inspiration from it with my comic strips a little bit. And Rocko was always interesting because it's right in the Rocko's Modern Life, in the title, the modern. It's always commenting on modern society. So the idea of the special is, the premise is that as soon as the series ended, somehow Rocko and Filbert and Heifer and his dog Spunky were all sent on a spaceship in their house, in Rocko's house, into space for 20 years, and now they're returning. And it's a very silly premise, but it's also kind of clever because it's Rocko reacting to the changes that have happened in those 20 years when he comes back to Earth. And that's really what some Rockos would have a not a moral, but something they're focused on, maybe trying to teach, I don't know. And what this one's very focused on is accepting change, and that becomes very obvious as you watch. Along with Rocko, it also focuses a lot on Mr. Big Head. If you don't know the Big Heads, they're a fairly prominent part of the show. I remember some episodes that actually just focused on them, so it's not that surprising that it focuses so much on them. But Mr. Big Head's Rocko's very grumpy neighbor, and change also comes to him in several ways. And some of the stuff is what you'd expect at the beginning, where there's a lot of jokes about what's changed. You got your obligatory Starbucks everywhere jokes, iPhone jokes, stuff like that. And that's well and good, and like it would feel weird if you didn't have that kind of commentary in there. But as it goes on, it gets a little deeper. And the other thing this is focused on besides change is nostalgia. Rocko's favorite cartoon, The Fatheads, has been canceled, and he really wants to bring it back. So there's a lot of meta commentary between that and the Rocko series itself, just as it was in the show. The Fatheads was always kind of an allegory for Rocko, where the creators could kind of comment on what their situation was like working on the show. So in this, he wants to reboot the Fatheads, and that's a central plot point. And kind of the funny joke of it is, like, rebooting the Fatheads is somehow bringing back a 90s cartoon, somehow going to save the whole town. And that's the brilliant thing that no one else could think of or get accomplished. And in that, it's very satirical because, like, I mean, it does kind of work, spoilers, but also just the ridiculousness of it. And I think it's kind of commenting on how much we hold on to nostalgia and what it means for us trying to bring back these old cartoons. I'm going to get into a little bit of spoiler territory here, but one of the big talking points I've seen people come out of it with, and I can see why, is that Mr. Big Head's son Ralph has become a woman, and Mr. Big Head finds out about this, and now he's Rachel. And it's kind of interesting. A lot of characters just kind of instantly accept this. Of course, Mr. Big Head doesn't. And that's part of him having to learning to accept change, which is kind of an ultimate change. And there's conservative type people that are upset that they would include this on here, and it's really something that is relevant in today's society, which is what Rocco comments on. So I don't really have a problem with them including something like that in there, but it does lead to kind of some touching moments with the family and stuff like that. It's not something that's going to probably have a super large impact, but it is a good watch. It has a ton of Easter eggs and nods to the series that, if you're familiar with it, it's one of the few that I actually bought on DVD and watch occasionally. So I caught a lot of stuff like that. Straight from the beginning, the first thing you see is debris floating from the house in space that references all these old episodes. And most of the characters get cameos and stuff in it. So if you're a fan of the series, it's pretty cool to see that kind of humor brought back. It feels right out of the original series. Which is also something that they're commenting on, is how much can you change while retaining what people like about it. So I think it's definitely worth watching. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Scale of 1 to 10, probably give it an 8. It is short. I do wish maybe they could have built it up as like a real movie. Like I said, I think it was originally going to be a TV thing, so it's only 45 minutes long, because I think they're going to have it as an hour with commercials. So basically it's the length of 2 Rocco episodes, really, which I think there was a 2-parter, at least one of them. So it's just something like that. But I guess that's all it was meant to be. I don't know if this will lead to any more, but based on this, I think I would enjoy it if they did, because it brought something a little different while retaining what was good about the original. So I guess that's it for now. I'll catch you later.